Hi everyone, and welcome to this wisdom transmission. And the subject of this transmission today is about the nature of change. So it begins with, it started with a conversation about uniqueness and specialness, and then goes on to explain about our humans' relationship with change. So, as always, I do have to look down because I am reading, I've written this, I've channeled it, I don't remember it word for word, not by any long shot, and it's from 2017, so I definitely don't remember anything I wrote back then. But it is a very interesting commentary on humans and change. So, it begins, you, meaning humans, you are special only in your uniqueness, your unique role and contribution and experience, your part that you play in the great dance. You as a species are not special, but your uniqueness as a body, ball of energy that constantly changes and adapts is. Your every experience, no matter how mundane, creates change. You are experiencers of a constantly changing and evolving universe. You are fascinating, you meaning humans, you are fascinating in your changing and adaptability, your changeability and adaptability. To say that humans don't like change is quite laughable, as that is all you ever do. It's quite sweet, endearing, how humans haven't totally understood the impossibility of a static universe. It's just not possible. Now, the direction in which change occurs may not always be predictable or favourable, so humans may wish to slow down change. And yes, when negative forces are creating change, those of the light are compelled to take action to change the direction. But it's still all change. So what this is alluding to is that the direction in which something occurs, where the change occurs, is not really that controllable in a way, but it is important that, you know, those of the light sometimes feel compelled to direct collective energy when something negative is in the collective energy is creating a movement away from the light. So I asked, what conditions cause change? So I asked, you know, what conditions cause change, but I sort of also asked around it, you know, in the big positive sense, how do we create change, right? If we're trying to evolve society for the betterment of all, how do we create change? That's what I was asking. And so the answer was, even that question shows that your grasp of change is still limited. They do like to mock me, which I find quite amusing as well. Yes, so by even asking how do you create change in a positive way, I was told that that question is very limited. Everything is always changing. Nothing in the universe is static, no matter how it may look to the human eye. If nothing is static, then there is a new possibility in every single tiny moment. The only thing that chooses the direction is thought. Thought intention chooses the direction. All directions exist simultaneously. Changes are occurring all the time, in all the dimensions, in all forms of energy. The direction, in human polar terms, positive or negative, is just a judgment that doesn't exist in creation. So I'm just going to stop there for a second. So change is always constantly happening in all directions, in all dimensions. And it's only humans' insistence on calling it positive or negative, having a dualistic mind that judges one way is better than the other, that's our creation. It doesn't really exist in the universe. Carrying on. Change is inevitable. A direction is always chosen, taken and adjusted into the whole. What the whole experiences in every moment of change is both, again, to use human terms for your understanding, always both good and bad. Good for some, bad for some. Because you do not understand the true nature of change and cannot see your change's cause, you still have a judgment of change. But once you have mastered the nature of change, you will be able to create change for the benefit of all. Humans haven't mastered the idea, concept, truth of the whole yet. So often a conscious or unconscious change leads to a conscious or unconscious suffering of others. But once you understand the wholeness of the universe for what it actually is, then you will understand how to create change that is beneficial to everyone in the universe. You cannot grasp it yet, most of you, as you only recognize your own species. You don't even recognize your impact on all beings on your planet. You don't even recognize your planet properly. So how can you recognize your universe? And so I sort of, at this point, I kind of said, we're quite primitive, right? Basically what you're saying to us is that we're quite primitive. And it was like, yes, you are quite largely primitive humans in your understanding at this time of writing. So then I continued with a question. If all dimensions exist simultaneously, and if time isn't linear and all possibilities exist, then does it really actually matter what direction we take if all are experienced in some dimension or other? So if there are infinite dimensions and infinite universes and they're all happening simultaneously, does it really matter what direction we take in terms of our thoughts, our actions, etc.? And the answer was yes and no. It makes no difference to the outcome. All outcomes exist anyway. So in that sense, no difference in direction. But, and I guess this is what is important to you, so they're talking to me, what is important to us as humans is that you care about what direction, because it's the one you are experiencing. You also care because you have incarnated in order to contribute, and your true nature is what you call love. So it's the same vibration as the source of all things. And like a beacon, it is drawn to go home to its source vibration. Because humans have free will, there are many who are very distant from their source. So your nature and everything in creation that is not in alignment with its source vibration. So anything that is not at its source vibration has an impulse to be drawn to be more closer to its source. I hope that makes sense. So because we have free will, we don't all live very much in alignment with the source of all things. Because of that, we still have this impulse to be drawn closer to our original source. And then an analogy was given, like flowers who tilt their heads and grow towards the sun. All of creation longs to be at its true source vibration. This is why you wish to evolve, because you feel it means you will feel closer to the wholeness, creator, oneness, perfection. That's another word that humans don't understand. Perfection is the state of vibrational oneness with source, a perfect fit, nothing outside or inside, all of everything. Of course, most humans' minds cannot conceive of everything, so can't attain perfection. but some do. But it is beyond concepts or words, so it is rarely explained to you humans. And even when it is, most cannot conceive of it. Funny stroke sad for humans, as they have the longing to be perfect in alignment with source. Funny that they have this longing, but their minds prevent them, restrict them. But it's only because humans still don't understand their minds either. But that is a problem for another day, as that's a long story. But in basic summary, your minds, humans, are a toy you were given to play with by the universe, to create experiences of joy and exciting possibilities. But your direction in the world as you know it, you didn't understand the toy. So he's saying, like, but if you look at the way, from my standpoint, the life I'm living in this history, in this dimension, that we didn't really understand that it was a toy and take it and use it as such. And so we use it, and it has become a limitation for us. So our minds have become a limitation for us. If you free yourself from your mind's limitations, you can once again enjoy the toy that is your mind. So I hope this brought a lot of wisdom into your life, and do with it as always as you will. I felt that it was a very important subject about the nature of change and how we relate to change, and how everything is constantly changing, and to try and not change, to try and put some energetic glue in the universe and say we don't want to change something, you know, is basically being explained to us very clearly that that's an impossibility. And so to be able to go with change, to adapt, to even just acknowledge that every experience is part of that changing, adapting universe, is a really important point, I think, for many. And also this idea of perfection and this call to return to source. Some people call it unity consciousness, and there is most definitely a call for unity consciousness coming from the universe towards us at the moment. So this idea of perfection is not a human idea of perfection. It is a perfect alignment to source, which sounds lovely to me. It sounds wonderful. And yeah, so I hope you have enjoyed this wisdom transmission. If you have any thoughts, if you want to add anything, if you want to do anything with this information, I offer it freely. It is channeled information. It's not mine. I do not own it. Okay.